there!
I can feel him!
One of us needs to live.
even a wolf! I didn't even know what a werewolf was before we came here today! Alaric! Why me? I have nothing to do with them! Please, Alaric. I am not one of them. I pose no threat to you. I do not have the same bloodline. Edward, I thought you were dead.
It's over.
Where did you find that? We thought it lost for all time.
Thousands have already walked through the shadows. They've heard the whispers of the forest, felt the breath of the Wolfman on their necks, and witnessed the rise of the curse. They've lived inside the world of the Wolfman Awakens. But the heartbeat of that world was never just the story. It was the music, the haunting score that carried every scream, every transformation, every drop of blood beneath the moon. Now the music is yours. The original Wolfman Awakens soundtrack. Sound of fear, sorrow, and power intertwined. Immerse yourself in the atmosphere that defined the saga. Every note, every echo, every haunting melody, now yours to keep. Listen, feel, remember what it was like to stand in the dark and hear the Wolfman's call. Available for members now inside the Shadow Vault, or as a paid download at ProfessorShadow.com as a MP3 download. Step into the sound of the curse and let it follow you home. Chapter 3. The Relic of the Moon. The rain had eased to a soft, eternal drizzle. Fog clung to the trees like breath frozen in time. And there, standing amidst it all, was Alaric. No longer the beast, but the man. His hair hung in dark, matted strands across a face weathered by centuries. The fire of life burned low in his eyes, but within that dim light was clarity. Perhaps for the first time in 200 years, he reached out a trembling hand towards the silver wolf-headed cane that Edward still held. His voice broke the stillness. "We thought it lost. They told me it was lost forever." He took it gently from Edward's grasp, turning it in the weak light of the moon. The silver caught the air like a fragment of lightning. "This," he said, "is the only thing that can bring me back. The only key that can restore what the moon once stole. When I jumped from the cliff all those years ago, I did it because I believed there was no cure, no end. Only the wolf, only the hunger." He looked down at the cane, the symbol of both salvation and ending, and smiled faintly. "But with this, I never have to be the wolf again." The rain thickened, whispering through the branches as he looked back towards the cliff, a pale outline beyond the fog. "The line is gone. The bloodline is broken. I am all that remains, a relic of a past curse. And I must do what I failed to do all those years ago. This time, with the cane, I can finally rest in peace." He began walking through the fog toward the cliffs. Edward stepped forward, calling after him. "Alaric, why? With that cane, you never have to transform again. You could live. You could start over." Alaric stopped, turning his face toward the wind, the moon glinting off the silver cane. My life ended centuries ago. It was only the curse of Lisanor, that kept me breathing long after I should have turned to dust. There is nothing for me in this world. People speak of immortality as if it were a gift, but it is not. To live without end is to live without urgency. Without limits, there is no reason to act, no reason to feel, no reason to be. He paused, his eyes softening, but the sadness did not fade. The finite gives life its meaning. When you cannot die, you cease to live. Clara stepped forward, her voice fragile. "Alaric, what is the cane?" Alaric looked down at it, the silver glint reflecting the stormlight. "It once belonged to your ancestor," he said quietly. "The first of your line, cursed by the moon. It was forged as both a symbol and a tether, the link between man and beast. It could command the curse, or end it." He raised it once, briefly, as though feeling its weight for the first time in centuries. "And now," he whispered, "it will serve its final purpose." He turned toward the cliff once more. The fog swallowed his outline as thunder rolled across the sea. And for the first time in 200 years, Alaric walked, not as a beast, nor as a cursed man, but as a soul finally free to rest. Chapter 4. The end of the line. The woods were quiet now. The storm had passed, leaving only the soft hiss of rain through the leaves and the slow crawl of fog drifting toward the cliffs. Where once there had been chaos and blood, there was only emptiness, a silence that felt almost sacred. Edward stood beside Clara, his coat heavy with water, his eyes fixed on the faint trail that led to the cliff's edge. The silver glow of the moon bled through the mist, faintly marking the path where Alaric had gone. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then Edward finally broke the silence, his voice steady but weary, carrying the weight of all they had endured. "He's gone," Edward said quietly. "And now that the line is broken, there's nothing holding him here anymore. I think he had to destroy everyone, every last one of them, for this moment to come. If even one of the bloodline still lived, he could never have ended it. But he's done what he set out to do. He's killed the Ashbury line, and now he can finally rest." The fog thickened around them, curling like ghosts through the trees. Clara turned slightly toward him, her voice soft and uncertain, almost carried away by the sea breeze. "Edward," she said, cautious, her tone a tremble in question. What if he missed one? What if there's another somewhere? Someone we don't know about?" Edward looked down, his expression unreadable, before exhaling slowly. "Then," he said, "he's doomed himself to eternity, either in the sea or back in that cave. But there isn't another. Gone. All of them. It's over." For a moment, only the distant rumble of waves filled the silence. The air smelled of salt and rain. Edward reached out and gently took Clara's hand. "Come," he said. "Let's go home. Let's leave this nightmare behind us." They began walking through the fog toward the faint glow of dawn breaking beyond the cliffs. Behind them, the forest grew still again, as if holding its breath, listening for a howl that would never come. Two months later, soft light spilled across sterile white walls. The storm, the manor, the cliffs, all of it felt like a fever dream now. Only Clara remained, pale but peaceful, lying beneath the hum of hospital lights. The rhythmic sound of a monitor pulsed softly beside her as the nurse moved the scanner gently across her stomach. The rain that once fell on Blackthorn Manor now whispered against the hospital window. The nurse frowned, leaning closer to the glowing screen. For a moment, she said nothing, her face frozen in quiet disbelief. Then, in a breath that was almost a whisper, she said,
"My goodness, I have never seen this before. It looks like 3 of them."
Clara blinked, her gaze lifting slowly from the screen to the ceiling, and then to the camera. Her eyes were wide, unsure, and in that silence, the echo of Edward's voice returned, faint and distant, as if carried on the wind. If even one of the bloodline remained, he would never perish. The sound faded, the monitor hummed, and Clara's expression turned from wonder to dread, frozen on the edge of understanding. For a long heartbeat, there is only the hush of the sea, then faint movement, dark water, endless and cold. The surface ripples with a low, rumbling growl that seems to come from beneath the world itself. And in the abyss, 2 golden eyes open. They blink once, then vanish into the dark. The end.